Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Call of Duty Black Ops 4 video. And in this video, what I'm going to be talking about is I'm going to be comparing two of what I think are some pretty high tier assault rifles in this game as of right now. The KN-57, which I think people are starting to realize how strong that thing is because of its 4-hit kill range. And I also talked about that in my video earlier today, which was absolutely an awesome 100+ gameplay with the KN-57. But I want to compare what I think are two very similar assault rifles and two of the top assault rifles, which are the MADDOX and the KN-57. Both of these are fairly controllable. They have, they're the fastest time to killing assault rifles, these two, except for the Rampart when you slap on high caliber. But for that one, you have to hit headshots. These are two consistent guns that have a lot of great attachments on them. And I want to talk about the pros and cons of each of them and basically compare these two and talk about in which scenario would taking the KN over the MADDOX take sense, and in which scenarios would you want to stick with the MADDOX. And of course, it comes down to personal preference and how you control the recoil. I think all of the assault rifles in this game are good, but that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Let me know in the comments which other guns you guys want me to compare, because I think if this video does well, if you guys smack likes on this thing, which I hope you guys will, take some milliseconds, smack that like button, and leave a comment. Which other guns do you want to see me sort of compare stats-wise? And also, I'm going to throw some stats out here, but I'm also going to throw my opinions in, because I play this game quite a bit, and I've used both of these weapons. I am, traditionally an SMG player from other CODs, but in this COD, the ARs are so good, I've been playing with those. So drop a like on this thing, subscribe if you guys are new, I would appreciate that, and let's talk about it. Now, first of all, why am I comparing the KN to the MADDOX? Well, they are both the fastest time to kill guns up close, and they are both guns that have, I guess the KN has a slower fire rate, but it has a 4-shot kill. The MADDOX a faster fire rate, but has a 5-shot kill, and then they also have different recoil patterns on them and different strengths and weaknesses. So, talking about other guns, I think that other assault rifles, the ICR, great gun. It's a laser gun, no recoil, great fire rate, but the thing about that one is it's been nerfed so many times, and with no stock or like fast reloads available, it's very, very slow side to side and can feel awkward to use. But the ICR still does, that's its problem, is mobility, movement. It's not with damage or range or anything like that. The Rampart, I think, is an amazing gun, but the Rampart fits one playstyle only. If you are accurate and you like the Rampart and you can hit those headshots, it's actually the fastest time to kill out of any of the assault rifles. Even the MADDOX Echo Fire doesn't kill faster than it. But that is, of course, if you are hitting those headshots with the Rampart, which is a lot easier said than done. So I think that gun could be the best gun in the game for a player that is absolutely amazing. But of course, no one is going to be able to land those headshots every single time, and the Rampart is kind of harder to control. The Vapor, I think, is a great overall gun, but it has a quick damage fall off, and I think the Vapor is one that's pretty cool if you want to play stealthy up close with the silencer. I think that's a good one to use. You can also do that with the KN, of course. I think the Vapor is great all around, but it definitely has a lot of weaknesses at range, even though it doesn't have that recoil. And that leaves us with the KN and the MADDOX, which are the two most overall like trustworthy weapons that I would trust if I was going try hard into a match. Say we're playing a domination and there was money on the line or something like that, those would be the guns I would go to. Now, what is the difference with these ones? And let's compare it in different ways. So first of all, we have to start with the whole gun comparison. Let's start with the default sights of both of them. In my opinion, the default sights are better on the KN than the MADDOX, but that's just a personal opinion, and honestly, that could be up to anyone. That's what I think in my personal opinion. KN iron sights are ones that I'm kind of used to because they're similar to ones from previous Black Ops games as well. The KN has 35 in the magazine. The MADDOX has 40, so the MADDOX has an extra 5 bullets in his magazine, but at the same time of that, the MADDOX has a faster fire rate, and they have around the exact same time to kill up close, but the MADDOX has a faster fire rate, so the MADDOX is going to be using bullets up more, so you're going to have to reload more often, even though the KN has less ammo, if that makes sense. The aim down sight speeds of these weapons are basically identical. Weapon sways are very, very similar as well. Hip fires are very, very, like pretty much almost identical on all of the assault rifles as well, and the reload time, when it comes down to it, it's 1.58 for the full reload of the KN and 1.77 for the full reload of the MADDOX. Of course, most of the time you're not doing a full reload, and like I said, it's 40 versus 35, so they're pretty much balanced across the board when it comes down to magazine size, utility, and all that sort of stuff. Nothing really stands out. Probably you would say the KN is better utility-wise because of the default sight and because of the fact that, the slower fire rate means that you're not going to be burning through that ammo and burning through your reloads as quick. Slower fire rate doesn't sound like an advantage, but it is in a certain way. Then when we come down to damage, this is where things start to change up, because the MADDOX is either going to kill with 5 or 6 shots, no matter what. This is, of course, on a 150 health person. We're not talking about headshots. We're not talking about body armor. We're not talking about crazy stuff like that. we're talking about a normal gunfight, the MADDOX will kill in 5 to 6 shots. The KN-57 will kill in 4 to 6 shots. So basically, what this means right here is that, you know, I gotta talk about the fire rates first, but before we can do all the math on it. So the fire rate on the KN is around 570 currently, and the MADDOX is around 746, somewhere around there. So it's about, it's a decent increase on the rounds per minute that the gun shoots. And then when it comes down to the time to kill, like I said, they're both very, very identical. So within 11.5 meters, I think it is as of right now, the KN-57 kills in 4 bullets. And from that range, the MADDOX kills in 5 bullets as well. And their time to kill is almost identical. But in my personal opinion, the KN is probably the best up close, just because landing 4 shots is a lot easier. And the recoil and controllability of the KN is very, very strong when it comes down to it. I think that it's very strong, very easy to control the recoil. You guys should check out my last video if you haven't already. I basically talk about how I can use the, if you use the KN with grip, it sort of has no recoil at all. And if you use it without grip, all you have to do is go into a custom match, shoot up against a wall on firing range, understand the recoil patterns, and sort of learn how to pull your thumbstick against it and control the recoil, which can be done on both these weapons, but I think it's easier to be done on the KN. So when it comes down to stuff like that, I think utility-wise, I would probably give the KN an advantage. Now, the MADDOX has an advantage for the fact that once we're past 11.5 meters, the time to kill, and the MADDOX time to kill even up close is a split millisecond faster. It's so close. But once we get past that 11.5 meters, the MADDOX clearly becomes the favorite in the time to kill range. But once we're past that, we have to talk about more different things like how controllable is the gun and stuff like that. So up close, when it comes down to it, the MADDOX kills faster from every single time, but that is of course if you are landing every single shot, and a person is standing right there, basically, you know, like just standing there, and you're shooting at basically a target, and that's not how the real game works. Of course, with the KN, you only have to land 4 of those shots. It's much more controllable, and from that first, in my personal opinion, I think that the KN is great for that first 11.5 meters. I think once we get past that, then it comes into a MADDOX. For that more longer range, medium range, the MADDOX is definitely stronger. And then if we go even past that, you probably don't want to be running either of these guns. You probably want an ICR or something, because the recoil of both these guns definitely is prevalent. I said that wrong. But with the medium-sized maps in this game, I think that, you know, you don't really have to worry about that when it comes down to it. So when it comes down to both of these weapons, next thing we have to talk about is operator mods. The KN, no operator mod. The MADDOX has the Echo Fire, which if you run the Echo Fire, then the MADDOX becomes an absolute monster up close, but even weaker at range. So that is something that it would be completely different to talk about when it comes down to that. So the MADDOX wins in that category. And then when it comes down to attachments, they both have stock available, which is a major key. But the KN, however, has hybrid mags, which is a super strong attachment, because that sort of gives you what hybrid mags allows you to do is it allows you to have a little bit of mixture of fast mags and a mixture of extended mags built in. And I think that works a lot better than the MADDOX with just straight up fast mags, because then the MADDOX is still at 40, but your KN is at 45, and they reload around the same speed. But of course, the KN also has that slower fire rate. So when it comes down to it with these two weapons, we're talking about a lot of different stats. They both have their different advantages, and when it comes down to it, overall, which gun is better and which gun is the best assault rifle in this game, I would say it's still the MADDOX. However, if you have trouble with the MADDOX recoil, or if you just don't like the MADDOX for some reason, maybe you don't like the default sights of it, the way you set up your class setup, the KN is one that up close, they're basically going to be competing at sort of the same sort of rate. But then when it gets to range, you have to make that decision, which I can't make for you. The MADDOX will kill faster, but can you control it to hit every bullet? And in that opinion, probably the KN at that range, it's probably going to be similar as well, just because when you have something that shoots with the 746 fire rate, it's going to be super duper hard to control at range, and I'd be very surprised if people are hitting every single shot. So when it comes down to it, statistically on paper, if you can land every shot and you're an absolute aimbot, yes, the MADDOX is better, but we know that's not how it works. And when it comes down to utility, stuff like the default sights, the hybrid mags, the 4-shot kill range, difference, the fire rate being lower and having more in the magazine when you throw in the hybrid mag, mags. I really think that the KN has more utility to it, and I think when it comes down to a normal match, it comes down to basically what you prefer, and it comes down to sort of the map, I guess you could say. I like using the KN on maps that are, you know, you're going to be fighting up close a lot with like slums, firing range, stuff like that. Very, very good. And even in that 5-shot kill range with the KN is not that too big of a worry. Where you really get into trouble with both of these weapons is when you get into the 6-shot kill range with both of them. Now, of course, the MADDOX will hit that 6-shot kill range a lot earlier because it only has 2 options, either a 5-shot kill or a 6-shot kill, but the KN won't hit that 6-shot kill range until you're fighting at a very, very long distance, which you shouldn't be fighting at anyway. So when it comes down to it, up close, it's basically personal preference, what you guys want to work with. And then from 11.5 to around 18 or 20 meters, the MADDOX is going to be stronger if you can land those shots. And then beyond that, you're going to be in trouble with both of the weapons, but it comes down to recoil patterns at that point, and I would probably say that the KN is more controllable. So from a farther distance, the KN is there. So it all comes down to basically personal preference, and these are two really, really closely matched up weapons. And like I said, the MADDOX gets the edge on paper with the stats. If you're just looking at these guns on paper, you would say, oh, the MADDOX is the best. But when you go into the game, and you can see the MADDOX has a lot more vertical recoil, and you're going to have to be reloading more often, you're going to be burning through more ammo, then it comes down to a choice between the KN and the MADDOX. And it's all personal preference. You guys let me know in the comment section down below what you guys like to run with. I personally use the MADDOX Echo Fire a lot, and I think that's a really, really good combo. But you guys let me know what you guys think, and I want to make this comparison video because these two weapons are very, very close, and it's surprising because most people don't really think about the KN because it has a slower fire rate. But once you remember that it can kill in 4 shots from close range, that starts to make you reconsider, because if the KN and the Rampart are the only two that can kill with 4 shots, and the Rampart has a way slower fire rate and way more recoil. So that's basically it. Thanks for watching, guys. Drop a like. I know this was a longer video, but I wanted to get in depth and everything. Let me know which other guns you want me to compare down below in the comments, and yeah, subscribe if you guys are new. Check out some other videos, and I'm out. Peace.